I want to welcome everybody here today. Thank you so much for coming. Today we are going to learn about Dr. Christopher's methods of cleansing and detoxing the body, and also about the mucusless diet. So hopefully you guys can all go home with something that you've learned, and maybe just come home thinking, maybe I want to eat a little better. Try it a little bit harder. Maybe that chocolate cake looks really good, but maybe I'll just pick up some grapes and it will make me feel better after that. So, if anything like that, I just hope that you just come away with something. So, appreciate y'all being here so much. So, first of all, I want to start out with my background. When I was around 8 years old, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And she was given 6 months to live. And so she did not really go with that. She wanted to live. She had 4 young children. She was still young, in her 30s. So she was not going to live with that predicament. So she decided to go on a health journey. And I was her co-pilot. So I went along with her, and we went and learned about how to cleanse the body, how to eat right, how to exercise. We went to naturopaths. We went to iridologists, which is a study of the iris. Went to foot zone therapists. We went to, you name it, we went. And colonics, everything. But she learned the basics of cleansing out the body, then rebuilding it with herbal supplements and exercising and eating well. And that, she's alive today, and she's gorgeous and beautiful, and she's owned health spas in Idaho and in Utah, and she's amazing. She's sorry, I'm so emotional. She's like one of my mentors, so I really love her. And appreciate all I've learned from her and my journey. So, anyway, boy, I didn't even get this emotional about health, anyways. But I've learned a lot from her over the years. And so I'm grateful for the journey that I took with her. I've just loved how natural health has sparked this passion in me, whether it's exercise or eating healthy and essential oils or just rubbing people's feet. It's just a healing, more gentler way to heal the body. Instead of go in, cut it out, remove it, get on your way, and then something else happens because you're without your gallbladder or without this or that. I totally am not against doctors in any way. If you need to go and get a cast or go and take care of that, then definitely do that. But if there's a way that you can prevent that, most definitely do that if you can. So, one of my most favorite quotes is from a Greek physician back in the day, and he has one of my favorite quotes. His name is Hippocrates. Our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. So if we're eating the right foods, that is our medicine to keep us healthy and keep us fit and keep us well. He was considered the father of all medicine. He prescribed a diet, gymnastics, exercise, massage, hydrotherapy, and sea bathing. Hippocrates was the great believer in dietary measures. In the treatment of disease, he prescribed very slender, light diet during a crisis stage and acute illness, and then a liquid diet during the treatment of fevers and wounds. So that goes right along with what Dr. Christopher has said, and he is the one that the doctors kind of relate back to, although they've kind of gone off a different path since then. But I really love that quote. So most of you know I love to garden. I have a huge garden that's kind of shrunk over the years with my kids being gone, but I really love to garden. I love to sprout. I love to eat sprouts, though I kind of am sad because they're babies, but they're so nutrients and so packed full of all sorts of nutrients. But I love to plant seeds and see it sprout and grow, and then progress to be able to collect that food. And I love to grow herbs. Over the years with this class, I have learned how to make tinctures and salves and fomentations and teas, and really been able to help heal my family and be more self-sufficient, because I can count on less than one hand we've been to the doctors. And I'm grateful for that knowledge and that wisdom to be able to feed my family correctly and then be able to heal it with the herbs and the medicine that we have done. So I'm really grateful for that knowledge. So I'm thankful for God giving us these wonderful plants to feed our bodies and heal them. So a couple scriptures that I brought up is Romans 14:2. For one that believes that he made all things, another that is weak eateth herbs. Another one is D&C 10. Again, verily I say unto you, all wholesome herbs God hath ordained for the constitution and nature use of man. So back in the scriptures, there's millions I could go through, but it's just saying back in the olden days, they used these. The ancient Indians used them. And they healed, and they restored the body. So pretty awesome. Has anybody here had low energy? Feel sick and tired? Anyone out there kind of just feel like maybe they need a little bit more zip it in their step or feeling better? So our bodies are similar to cars. So how would you like to be this kind of car driving down the road, right? That's it's yellow, maybe. So our bodies are similar to cars, right? So what we put in the fuel tank matters. So what if I pull this up to the gas station and I put in diesel fuel? What would happen? What would happen? Why wouldn't it work?
Completely different fuel for it. It's not designed to take diesel and burn, and it won't work at all.
And wouldn't it ruin it too? Ruins it.
So, and I hope you're okay if I pick on you for a second.
Absolutely.
So, Eric got this sweet ride at Colorado Duramax, and it has this wonderful little thing that you have to add depth to the engine, and there's like 2 separate places for it, right?
Right next to each other, though.
Right next to each other. I don't know why they did this. So he's talking on the phone, doing whatever, wasn't paying attention, and he puts death in the gas, or in the diesel engine. What happened?
I had to replace all the fuel injection of the engine.
We had to replace, very costly, mistake, but it would not run. He had to replace all those parts in the engine. So,
Wrong fuel for the auto.
wrong fuel. So this is what I'm getting at. Do we want to be driving a good, nice, slick car? We maintain it, we take good care of it, we lube it every 3 months or, I don't know, 35,000 miles anyway. So are we taking good care of that car? Are we this rusty old car that's blowing smoke out the back and we're feeling sluggish and tired and stuff like that? What we put in our bodies matters. If we're putting in dead, mucus-forming foods, we're going to feel that. Why do we expect a miracle? We should have lots of energy. We should be out zipping around, feeling good. Or are we putting in fresh, living, vibrant foods that is correct? God put these foods down here for our bodies to take and energetically give us that energy and that fuel and that food. So, so when we eat this, anybody probably has eaten this before. Right. So, these are very sweet to the taste. They're very savory and a lot of instant sugars, right? And white flours and what?
They're addictive.
They're very addictive, right? That's why it's hard for people to get out and do that. But when we put healthy foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, that is what our bodies are meant to have in there and crave and produce, right? So let's put more living food in our bodies. Then we can expect energy and life-giving foods, right? So what is this? Can you guys see that back there? What is that? Anybody in the back row? I'm picking on you guys back there, since you're way back there.
Fish tank.
Fish tank. Awesome, April, thanks. Would you guys want to swim around in that? No? All right. So to the fish in this bowl after what? They would die. Miserable death, right? So it's murky, it's nastiness. That's kind of what happens in our blood when we eat that. Hey, Melissa, I'm glad you made it. Thank you.
I can go sit in front of it.
If you want to grab some food, you're welcome to. No? Okay.
Doing my cleanse.
Oh, that's right. And I'm so happy that Melissa came today because she's my coworker, employee, whatever. She's my main woman here at PJ's. And I'm grateful because she's like, I'll have her step up in a minute. But she went golfing today and she's like, I really want to go to your class. I'm like, please come in because she has something important to say to this. I'm super excited she's here. So when we're eating this junk food, right? What happens is the cholesterol and the fats and all that stick in our arteries and they clog those arteries, and then we wonder, why am I getting a stroke? Why am I having a heart attack? Why am I feeling sluggish and tired and not feeling good? It's because all those fats and particles are sticky and they adhere to the sides of the arteries, the artery wall, and then the blood has a hard time passing through that, right? And that's when high blood pressure starts happening because the heart's beating and it's like a constant pump through our body. And then when we start getting chlorosis and all these different blocked arteries, the heart's still pumping, but it's harder now. It has to pump harder to pump through those veins because it's got a teeny opening. And so that makes the heart work harder and it's pumping harder, and that makes it harder than it, either has a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. So we need to realize when we need to cleanse those out, we can be happier. So when we're eating pizza and hamburgers and fries and all that, picture those blockages in our arteries. That's truly what happens. So, which bowl would you rather be in? This murky, gross, that's not as bad, right? Or would you be in a nice, clear, clean bowl that can make us feel good and energy and be fuel-efficient Prius kind of car? That's what I used to drive. Or a cool yellow Jeep. I don't know, whatever you want. A Ferrari or a Corvette or whatever. What kind of car do you want to have? Just think about that for a minute. So, slides here. So when the fish is sick, right, this is what happens. We pull the fish out, we give it a few antibiotics, maybe a few aspirins or a little bit of medication, and then what does the doctor do? He puts the fish right back in the bowl. And you might feel a little bit better, right? Oh yeah, that made me feel better after a while. And then what happens? Oh, I have another side effect, or I have this or that. It didn't really create or cure the cause. We're just masking the symptoms. So what do we need to do? Do we need to treat the fish, or do we need to change the water? Change the water, right? Good job, you guys are listening. So what I'm trying to get at is the water represents our internal terrain, our blood, our lymph systems, all the internal fluids. We're 80% water, right? So we need to cleanse that. We need to maintain this, maybe every 3 months, maybe every so many miles. We need to cleanse the house, our internal house. We shower every day, or every other day, or whatever you do. You clean the outside of your bodies, but our internal bodies, we need to do that as well. So that is why it's important to do a cleanse. So we're going to talk a little bit about cleansing. As you see your handouts there, we're going to kind of go through that. So detoxing your bodies with food, drinks, and baths. Just want to touch a little bit about that. We're going to touch about food and drinks, but also bathing. When you're sick, the first thing you want to do is get in a hot bath and just expel those toxins through your skin. That's super important. The Indians used to have those sweat lodges. When they were sick, the medicine man go put them in a sweat lodge. If you have a steamer or a sauna, super good. Sweat those toxins out. If you take yarrow, that's an awesome diaphoretic, and it just helps you sweat the toxins out. So if my kids get a fever, I don't give them aspirin. My 2 boys had several seizures, and the aspirin would just mask it. Did I ever give them an aspirin? I don't even think I did. So I knew what aspirin would do. It wouldn't do anything but mask it and make it come back higher. So I give them yarrow, which helps sweat it out. A wet fever is better than a dry fever. A dry fever at 104 will start affecting the brain. But you keep giving them liquids, tea, water, and you put them in a hot bath. That will help sweat these toxins out and help heal it, because a fever is good for the body. It is your natural immune response to kill the virus. See? So your first line of defense, maybe I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but your first line of defense is your immune system, right? And there's the white blood cells and the macrophages, or the phagocytes, that lay in that inner lining in your mucous membranes. So your respiratory, that's why you wear the masks, right? But then they say you can breathe that COVID right through the mask, because your first line of defense is the respiratory system. And those phagocytes and those macrophages are in those lining, and they detect, hey, there's something not self inside you. So a bacteria or a virus. And it's alerting, hey, something's wrong with the body. So it goes to your T helper cells and says, hey man, decode this. This is not self. You need to figure out what's going on. And so then the T helper cells decode it and goes to T killer cells and says, okay, get your army, your white blood cells, let's march out, let's kill this thing. Right? Let's get this thing gone, let's get it out of here. And so your body, your interleukins, and there's a paper in there too that talks about that. The best thing through this COVID is to eat good and to increase your immune system by eating good and feeding yourself and exercising and releasing those toxins, because there's a lot of stories out there, and I'm not going to get into them, but the best way of line of defense is keep your immune system up, and then you will be healthy. So, any questions with that? Okay, we're going to move on to, the acid-alkaline diet. So, this is kind of going into the juice cleanse. So, when we juice cleanse, we give our body a rest. Okay, our organs and everything are working 24/7. We're constantly eating, constantly fueling our bodies. Well, when we give it a little rest, the cleanse is a 3-day cleanse, and it gets good juices, alkalized juices in our body. So our body is acidic and alkaline, right? It's a constant balance between it. And when we're more on the acid side, we're more closer to dis-ease or disease in our body. When our body's very acidic, like that fish tank is very acidic. When we're more eating alkalized foods, like what's on the table over there, the greens, the fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Whole grains are slightly acidic, but when you chew them and break them down, they become a little more alkaline. But this theory is more alkaline, but a little acidic. Your blood is like 7.468 or something like that. It's slightly acidic, but it's mostly alkaline. So we need to just try to eat more alkalizing foods, because stress causes acidity. Exercise does acidity if you do too much, right? So we need to just keep that balance. So eating more and relaxing and deep breathing and all those things really help too, to do that. So I'm gonna zoom in on this one part. Basic rules for the chart. Alkaline or acid forming describes the residue after metabolism. So citrus foods taste really acidic, like lemons, but there's less sugar content to water, so on the metabolism residue, that leaves an alkalized residue. So that's why they say, sprinkle some little lemon in your water. It really cleanses and alkalizes the body by doing that. The fresher and the sweeter the foods taste, the higher the alkalinity. So that doesn't mean sugar, but more of the fruits and the citrusy foods. Chewing a mouthful 40 times increases the alkalinity of grains. So any cooked food or canned or frozen, you subtract a half percent, which makes you more on the acid food line. Foods grown chemically or processed or preserved, with white sugar you subtract 1 whole point, and then the organic is the biodynamic is better, and partly raw is essential. So raw is best, but if you want to steam it, that's even that's a little less best or whatever. I guess cooked, you kind of all the minerals are in the pot, right? And the water, you might as well just drink the water and let go of the vegetables. There, you know, there's a lot to be said of that, but fresh is best if you can do that. But do your best, whatever you like, best you can. So if you look over here, meditation, prayer, peace, kindness, and love are the most alkaline. Isn't that crazy? And then on that other side, hate, anger, frustration makes you more alkalized, just as an emotion. But lemons and watermelon are the most extreme alkalizing foods, and then it kind of goes on. I have the chart in the back too, if you're interested in looking at that. That's pretty interesting. So, on to our juice cleanse. Some of the supplies you need are kind of up here. You need some prune juice, some olive oil, some distilled water, and we'll go over why that's important. If you want to do an extended cleanse afterwards, you would want to get some herbal supplements to just really target those areas, like the lower bowel, getting that kicked in and get that trash and that garbage out. The liver gallbladder, because that detoxes all your toxins in your body. It's your filter. Your kidneys, they're always filtering out all your liquids in your lymph. And then your bloodstream, which is the master transporter of all your nutrients and waste. So, and then, of course, your juice. Fresh juice is best. So if you have a juicer, it's best to juice it fresh. If you don't have a juicer and want to borrow mine, anytime, it's a welcome. So those are the most ingredients that you need for the cleanse. See if I forgot anything. I forgot everything. So usually what I'll do for the day is I'll juice for the full day. So I would get a whole apple juice thing, and I would juice for the whole day. So then I have it accessible. I don't have to be like, oh, I have to go juice today. I have another one. So what you do is you will take 16 ounces of prune juice in the morning. Okay? Prune juice. It's very exciting. It's supposed to be exciting. Which I don't know if I should share what happened this morning. Okay, I will. Okay, so we created some beets the other day. We had a whole garden meal. Red potatoes, peas, some romaine, sprinkled with calendula flowers, and beets, which is super awesome for the blood. Super great. So we were having, maybe, okay, so anyways, we had this competition of, you know, see whose system is the best and who was able to get it out faster, because you always find out later when it comes out. It's red. Anyway, we're talking about this, and I'm like, man, mine's just not moving through. It's coming out my kidneys, it's coming out that end, but not the other. So I took a little prune juice this morning, and oh man, 45 minutes later, I'm like, hey honey, I had an explosion. So prune juice works. If you ever feel sluggish, prune juice is the answer. Or if you don't want to go prune juice, lower bowel formula is amazing too. It's an emotin, it's great, it contracts the smooth muscle of your colon. It's not addictive like some laxatives are, but it's really gentle and kind to your body as well. But prune juice. Prune juice not only empties the colon, but it draws all the toxic material out of your lymph, out of organs and cells, out of your body. So it's an amazing juice in itself. So prune juice is amazing. So on the cleanse, you choose one of the 3 juices. Apple juice, which is the most oxygenating and purifying juice. We've got the carrot juice, which is amazing, and it's really sweet too. You think carrots, nah, they're not sweet. You're gonna all taste it. It's super sweet, it's super good. That's one of my juices of choice. I love apples, but it's almost too sweet on the 3rd day. I'm like, I don't want any more apples. So I love the apple juice, but the carrot's my juice of choice. And then the grape juice. Well, I've never done the grape juice all 3 days, but I was really excited to do it for this class, and I really love it. So I might try it next time. So it's pretty exciting. So the grape juice is also yummy. And if you don't have access, or you just don't have time or whatever, these brands of juices in the health food store are the best brands to get. If it's in a health food store, it's most likely not sprayed or have pesticides, or it's an organic juice, so it's a good juice to have. So with that, I may have Miss Melissa get up and share her experience.
I Go ahead, Nina.
Is that okay? You have to be in here in front of the camera.
Oh,
She's, okay, I'll just let her take a few minutes if you're okay with that.
Well, I'm juicing right now, and mine doesn't look quite as nice as her. I'm just gonna tell you, this right here is 10 pounds of carrots. Just that much.
That's awesome.
That's all you get out of 10 pounds of carrots. And I today started this morning, and I probably had a half a gallon. And they say to kind of figure 3 gallons.
For the 3 days.
For the 3 days. So, and I just bring it to work, and I sit there, and I measured out my 8 ounces, and so I brought my cup that was closest to 8 ounces. Just every half an hour, switch back and forth between my distilled water. And this is the most disgusting part of the whole thing. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah, it is. You can put it in your juice, so
Yeah.
that's okay.
You can, and I've tried that, and I've tried it in my prune juice in the morning. Sometimes I've kind of figured out I like to take a shot because I don't want it to drink that whole 8 ounces of it. So
You
I
know
just,
why that's important?
yes, no, I don't.
So the olive oil is important for your liver, gallbladder. So what the liver gallbladder breaks down your fats, but this helps lubricate it and keeps it moving forward. And the mucus goes to your liver and kind of gets it congested. So this helps keep it slip and keeps it lubricated. So the olive oil is actually a really important part of it. It is, I just take it
Yeah,
and then take a drink of juice.
yeah,
But you take it morning, afternoon, and night, 1 to 2 tablespoons.
yeah.
So
they,
awesome.
yes, and I do one. So I had, for whatever reason, for the last 3 weeks, I was going through a little bit of a depression, and I was just really angry and just sad, and I'm like, there's got to be something wrong. What's wrong? And I've been eating poorly, and Suzette too is one. She's gluten free, and she tells me all the time, you need to get off that and the sugar. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna cleanse. And really, I didn't realize that this class was gonna be about the cleanse. So that's funny.
I just said health class.
Yeah, but Mandy, I've done this before with Mandy. She introduced this to me when I started working there 4 years ago, and I've done it before. But I've never done it for mental health. I've done it just for, physical health and maybe drop a couple pounds, And this time I did it for mental health, and I'm telling you what, I can't believe it. The only thing I changed was what I didn't eat, and this is all I've eaten. And ask my husband, because I was in a funk, and I wouldn't have come here tonight if I would have gone home and gone to bed yesterday. So just doing this by like 1 o'clock, I was just like, I have energy. I'm like, what is going, it was amazing. It's like a little miracle. And I mean, I don't know if it was all this or if I was turning a corner, but this is the only thing I changed, so.
So is this your first day, you said?
This is my first day.
So she's only drinking half her gallon, and she feels that good.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
I am a believer. Before, when I've done it, I didn't see much of a change because it was physical. I wasn't experiencing anything that I was trying to change, or it was just basically because Mandy told me it was good to cleanse. So.
She was getting her lube job, but see, maybe her fish tank went from that first tank to getting less cloudy. And
Yeah, it's amazing. And I called her today, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm amazed. So I'm thankful.
Well, I appreciate you. I called her about some IT stuff this afternoon, because our IT guy was coming in, and she's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you. I just found out she was doing the cleanse just before I left, and she told me how it helped her depression, and she was feeling good already, and it was awesome. And I'm like, will you come in and share your testimonial with us today? I think that would really be awesome.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you stopping by.
You bet.
I'm glad you made it. So that's super awesome to have someone like right now doing it. So perfect. So cool. So it's like she said, you do about a gallon of liquid or juices a day. And if your age is, or you can't do that, it's okay. Just do the best you can, right? Even if you don't think you can do 3 days, do maybe just 1 day. But if you can do the full 3 days, this is the best. The first day is probably the hardest. You miss chewing. And so with that, we're gonna have you guys try this. We have to swoosh it in your mouth. So Dr. Christopher says it opens the door to digestion. So if you just gulp it, if you have a weak stomach, you're more apt to regurgitate it. So by swishing it around with your digestive juices, it helps to open that door and like mix with it, and so then your hypothalamus smells it and it gets your digestive juices mixing and ready for it. Ooh, that's carrot juice. I know what to do for that, right? And it starts getting that churning and that motion going, and that's really important to swoosh it. And you don't feel as hungry either. So like she said, you're going back and forth. You're drinking carrot juice or one of the juices, and then you're drinking distilled water and carrot juice, and you're not really that hungry. You're just constantly feeding your body, right? And then at the end of the day, if you're like, oh, I need something to eat, it's okay to eat apples with apple juice. If you want to slice up a little bit of apple and eat it, that's okay. If you want to eat carrots, and you can even eat celery with the carrot juice, that's okay. Or grapes with the grape juice. And if you're on the citrus belt, it also says in your handouts you can eat lemon and limes, or tomato juice is okay too. But these are the ones that they most recommend. So with that, I want you guys, can you help me pass this out? Choose your juice of choice, and then you can, afterwards, you can try the other ones if you'd like. But I want you guys to try just juice this today. So you may have to shake it up just a bit because the apple is a little bit foamy. But, pick one, and then we'll set them on the back one, and you can try other ones. Or you can take 3 cups and just do it right now if you want. Just make sure there's enough for everybody. So I want you to try it and see what it tastes like and the freshness.
Well, you guys, I was just gonna pass those around.
The apples, I think, the organic apple gallas from Costco. Just one of those trays did that much. And then 1 bag of carrots did this. So I usually get like 3 trays at Costco if you go to Costco. And then 3 bags of organic carrots. And then this was just 1 thing of the grapes. I like bought all this stuff, and the guy at Costco was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Look how many grapes she's getting.
It was just 1 box of grapes?
1 box of grapes. So I was surprised.
Just that bottle, not for
Does
3
the
days.
bottle.
I got my own.
And it was interesting because I actually took the pulp from the grapes because it started juicing up. I took the pulp from the grapes and ran it through again. And I like ran it through like 3 or 4 times, and it just kept giving me more and more juice. So keep running the pulp through to get all the juice you can, because the juice will come out this filter here. See, it has a filter. So the juice will filter it there, and then the pulp will come out this side. So,
Then what do you do with the pulp? Do you garbage it?
I
know you don't.
compost it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put it in my compost.
So tell me the difference, because I know there is a difference. Why juice instead of just eating it? It's how your body digests, right?
So it's best because a lot of people's digestion is not good, right? Juice is just goes right into the bloodstream. It's easy, fast, because when you eat something, say your apple, you chew it. A lot of people don't chew it very well, right? And then it goes down to your stomach, and you have hydrochloric acids trying to. It's like a Zuka machine, right? Or a Vitamix, whatever it's called. They like in your stomach, it's trying to pulverize all that food into a liquid form. So then when it goes into the small intestine, it can absorb through the colon or the intestinal wall into the bloodstream to transport all that nutrients in your body, right? And then the blood's taking the nutrients to your cells, and then it's pulling the waste and taking it out and going through the liver to filter it, the kidneys to dump it out through the urinary system, or the bowel to excrete it through the bowel. So this is just fast, quick, easy.
Not using all that.
You're not using a lot of energy, or there's not so much fiber going along. A lot of people, when they take like a herbal supplement or just any kind of food, their digestive system is usually really clouded and toxic that sometimes you don't even get the nutrients out of that. So if you can take things orally or bilingual or in your mouth, like in a tincture or whatever, it gets in the bloodstream really fast. Actually, right through it underneath your tongue, it'll just goes. It's pretty fast. Then obviously going through the whole digestive system, it goes through if it's liquid. It's just faster. It's like that red car. It's fast, easy, efficient. It's better. Yes.
So I think I might know this answer, but I'm assuming you're only supposed to stick with 1 juice a day, and why?
So you're supposed to just pick one juice for the whole cleanse. So that's super important.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure why you stick with one. I think it's just to keep that vibrancy and that, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to
So
ask
let's not
Dr.
confuse.
Christopher on that. Yeah, maybe jumping from different ones that it, I really don't know. Does anybody know why you would stick with one juice? Other than,
Could it maybe be just kind of like a reset button? Like you want it to be consistent and the same? And then if you changed it, your body would have to adjust again to that, maybe?
maybe. That's a very good
Sense.
answer. Yeah. I said I didn't know all the answers. So I appreciate that, Asia. Yeah, maybe it's just keeping a consistent flow. The body knows what it's to expect, right? This is kind of not a good example, but like a dog, right? They get the same food every day, usually the same time, and they're so happy about it. If we got the same thing every day, I don't know if I'd be happy about it. But I guess you'd just be grateful you get to eat, right? So I don't know. But pass this other juice around and taste it if you guys like. So good answer, Asia. I don't know. I'll look into that and let you know for sure. But they do say stick with the same juice for all 3 days is the best way to go. So when you alternate them with distilled water, right? A lot of people are like, distilled water doesn't have any minerals in it. You need your minerals. Why are you gonna drink it distilled? And I'm like, no. You get your minerals from your food. You get your water from your water. So why you choose distilled is it's pure H2O. Okay? What happens when we used to live in Pocatello, Idaho? It's the worst water system ever. Do you remember that, Missy?
It
You
tastes
could
horrible.
smell the chlorine in that, right? She's my friend from Pocatello. And we moved up here just to be with them. It's awesome. Anyways, the water was awful, and so we bought a distiller. And see, Eric used to have bad knees. He's a plumber. He's always on his knees, but he would have like calcium deposits and arthritic knees. And when we got this distiller, it was amazing. Like it's such an aggressive, hungry water. It actually pulled the calcium out of his joints, and he felt better. It was awesome because he was on glucosamine, chondroitin, shark cartilage, all these things. He got off of that by just drinking distilled water. So it's a hungry water. It pulls out calcium and hardness out of your joints. So if you're arthritic or anything, start drinking distilled water and see how it helps. It also gets rid of the inorganic minerals and the pollutants in your body. So then you can properly absorb the nutrients that you eat. Because a lot of things are masked. So you can't even absorb and assimilate the foods you eat. Because you're eating too much, maybe you guys aren't, but junk food, right? So distiller, what it does is it heats the water that you put your water in from your house, and it evaporates the H2O, the pure hydrogen and oxygen, and then it puts it in a collection tank. And the calcium and the deposits and the impurities stay in this tank, and then you clean this every so often. So distilled water is amazing, and it tastes good. Once you get drinking it, like we go out of town, I have to go get some water. I've got to go get some, that's like $1 at this grocery store. Distilled water is cheap to go buy if you didn't bring it with you. But it tastes so much better when you drink other water. You don't want to taste it. Put some lemon in it or lemon oil, and then you can. So since we own a plumbing and heating company, we see this every day. Well, not every day, when we change a water heater. So I might have Eric jump up and talk about it, but this is the same water you drink, right? See all these hardened minerals and calcium deposits, right? Is that disgusting? This is what causes some of those floaties or those things that just kind of, you're moving parts all the time, and that kind of interferes with that. Those impurities are hard to get through. So Eric, tell us a little bit about these.
So as the picture shows up here, this is just a standard electric water heater. And what it does is it heats up the water, and this element gets super hot. It almost acts like a magnet with regard to the minerals that are in the water. So they get attracted to this. And as those minerals get attracted to all of this, it starts to build up around here, like right here, what you see. And eventually what happens is it overheats and causes that element to fail because of overheating. not that the element was bad, it was just that it was covered in so many elements that the heat couldn't dissipate into the water, and it's closed off all of that heat and keeps it trapped inside that element. Same thing like what Mandy was talking about earlier with your arteries and things like that. When they start getting plugged up, it causes everything else to start working harder and harder and harder, and that's why it's getting tired. When it comes to, you know, one of the things that we do when we service electric water heaters is we pull these out, clean them, try to get all of this stuff out. If it looks bad or it's caked like this, then we'll replace that element. But it doesn't do any good to just pull this element out and then shove it right back in to all of that build up in that line that's around that element, because it's gonna overheat again. So we typically would pull it out, try to vacuum everything out that's inside of there. So that then this,
100% gross.
yeah.
That's what it was like.
And so this is actually a water heater that was cut open, and all of that is just the minerals. And this is in water that, you know, when you look at a glass of water on the table, it's crystal clear, right? These elements are in there just in a very, very minute, small form. And that's how all of this ends up in there, is as it gets heated over time, those elements collect to this, and those minerals, and you end up with, you know, this is inside of a water pipe or a steam pipe, same thing happens. You know, when it,
This is where it starts.
Yeah.
This is just a little, I'll pass that around.
And so over time, things start getting built up, and the only way to get rid of that is either go in there and physically clean it out. You know, that's what they do when they put stents in people's hearts and stuff like that. They go in and they put a balloon and blow it up so that then they can get circulation through there. You know, with regard to the hard water and things, water softeners, what they do is they change the molecular structure of the water and try to pull those elements out as best they can. When we get to a water heater that has a water softener, all of that hard water buildup, this calcification and the minerals, it's almost like a sludge and slippery. It actually moves. That's why when you take a shower in a hotel, you can't get the shampoo out of your hair, because that water softener now is just, the water's not aggressive like the hard water is if you're at your house. So it wants to grab all of that and pull that out. And when we pull the elements out, it's literally like a gel in the bottom. Those elements are still in there, but at least they're not caking and corroding and causing all of that and sticking to things.
But a softener's better
A softener is definitely better.
on your water.
Like your dishwashers and things like that will definitely last longer with the water softener in it.
Cool, thank you. I thought he could explain that a lot better than I could. So thank you, I appreciate you being here. So, similar to our arteries, okay, this is not always just talking about hard water, but it does attract and stick on to probably those cholesterol and that fat that's in the artery. So this is what a clean artery looks like, a partially blocked artery, and then blocked artery. Kind of similar to a pipe. And it's funny, it's very interesting, distilled water is such a hungry water. Eric told me if you put distilled water through if you still have a copper system, that was back in my day when we were putting in copper systems and copper pipes, now they do plastic, but that copper will get eaten and cause leaks, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Because it's such a hungry water, it's pulling those minerals and attracting those. So it's pulling those out of your joints, right, at the same time. It's really cool to see that in a plumbing world, because you are kind of like a plumbing house, I guess you would say, or your pipes or your arteries and your veins, right, and it's constantly pumping through with a pump. It's very similar, so that's interesting. Partially clogged artery, when sometimes you get those blockages, is that thrombosis, it opens up and causes a swelling in your body. So try to keep those nice and clean. So a cleanse would be the best thing to do.
Okay, so Mandy,
Yeah.
what about a water, like your purifiers? What's the difference between that and like a distilled water? Like your fridge purifier or like a Brita or whatever?
So those are more like a charcoal system, right?
They're a
So-
filter, they're a fine filter.
A fine filter. I'm
Like a
not.
reverse osmosis, what it does is it actually pushes that water through a membrane, and it's just an extremely fine filter. So it's getting, reverse osmosis would probably be RO water, is as close as you can get to distilled without having it boiled and things like that.
A
So-
purifier would be,
Well,
or no?
like a Brita,
Uh-huh.
all they're doing is it's a super fine filter.
So it's not gonna be as good as distilled?
No.
Okay.
but like an RO system,
Oh,
they actually
okay.
send that through a membrane that basically only allows molecules the size of water to go through. And so there are some elements that are the size of water that'll go through
But
that
distilled
molecular
is-
structure, but yeah.
Okay.
It's probably better, right? It's
Yeah.
got a little filter to it, but
Yeah.
distilled if you want to really clean the body out and drink real good water. Kind of go to that, which is really inexpensive. You just buy it from the store. And I think you can even, I don't know if they have some of the refillers. I don't know, you get the jug and refill. I don't know if that's distilled water or just purified.
Those are all purified.
But if you ever want water, come over to my house, I can fill your red up. We got one of those. So it's still working from, how long have we lived here? 16 years? So, yeah, well, it's probably over 20 years. By
And
now.
that's a distiller?
A distiller itself. So it's pretty cool. I love it. Okay, so, any questions with that? So, yes, April.
2 questions.
Okay.
A, what about watermelon juice for the cleanse? Like juicing the fruit and the rind and everything. Would that be an option?
If it's organic, would be best, but I've never done the rind of a lemon or what?
Or watermelon.
Oh, watermelon.
Watermelon juice for the cleanse.
I've done the watermelon cleanse, but I've never done the rind. I don't know. I'd have to look at what it's made out of. I don't know if it's got
Okay.
some alkaloid components or whatever in that.
And could you do like a 50-50 of carrot celery? Or does it have to just be real?
I can look up that. They do say you can eat the celery with a carrot at the end, but they want just the carrot juice, but I can call him. They let me call for 1 hour a day. I can call him a hotline. And Dr. Christopher actually passed away, so his son's taken over the school, and so he's actually answers questions for that. It's really awesome to cool. He's like the pioneer of herbology. Dr. Christopher was back in the day, so it's pretty cool. So is that the only question, April? Okay, I'll look into that. So I do watermelon cleanses too. I usually do the cleanse once or twice a year, the 3-day cleanse. And then sometimes in the summer, I'll alternate with the fruit of the season, which is watermelon, because it only comes out in summer, right? And it's so yummy. And when you put it in your Vitamix and you grind up your seeds and everything, it's so good. Or you freeze it and make little juices. It's so good. So you can do a watermelon cleanse for 3 days too. That's really a fun one for something different. So, and then April, she does some other liver cleanse that she was telling me about the other day, the salt one. So if you ever want to try a liver cleanse, talk to April.
You don't want to do it.
Or this will help with the liver as well, taking that. So there's lots of them out there, but this is by far my favorite. I've done the master cleanser. It's a lemonade cleanse with cayenne pepper and lemon and maple syrup. And I did it for 10 days. And it's a pretty long, intense one.
I've done that one
Have you?
too. That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
awesome.
intense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you do saltwater bath in the morning, which is probably worse than prune juice.
Way worse.
You're like running to the bathroom. It's
Saltwater bath?
internal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you drink it.
It pulls
And
the
it's
urine out.
very salty.
I like salt, but not that much. So yeah, there's a lot of ones out there, but this is by far my favorite, and it's delicious. You really will like it if you try it. So with that, so you do the olive oil in the morning, first thing, with your prune juice, and then you alternate juice, distilled, juice distilled, juice distilled every half hour, and then at noon you'll do a little bit of olive oil, lubricate that juice, lubricate the liver, and then juice back and forth till about 8 o'clock, I think, and then you do olive oil again, and then go to bed. And if you feel like, oh, I didn't get a lot out, usually in the morning, right after the prune juice, you're getting taken care of.
I can
But
testify.
but
Be ready to
throughout
go.
the day, it's not bad. Some people are like, do I have to stay home all weekend and just like be married to the bathroom? No, you don't. I still work out. I still go to work. Melissa's doing it right during work, and she likes it better than the weekends. She likes doing it through the day because her mind is busy, and you don't think about, that pizza sure sounds good, or something like that. So it keeps you busy, and you're drinking all nonstop, so it's actually, that's not that bad. You don't think about, I want to eat something. But if you do, you know what you can do, right? Okay. So, with that, I don't know if you can see the top of that, but we're gonna go to Italy, one of my favoriteest places. Asia went there to college. Do you remember seeing this in Italy, Asia?
Yeah, you wanna kind of like chuck your bag of trash so the rats don't come out at you as you're walking up to it.
Oh. So they're mandatory. They have to compost and recycle everything because they live in a big city. Rome is a big city, right? So they're mandatory of recycling. But obviously they can't recycle this stuff, right? So it gets put on the streets. And then what's notorious for Italy to do?
Go on strike.
They go on strike. Every other day, strike on the buses, strike on the trash guys. We don't want to go pick up your trash, so they go on strike, just whenever they feel like it or something, right, Asia?
Yeah.
She's trying to get to school and the buses are on strike, so she has to walk. Or whatever. So anyways, interesting enough, when trash starts sitting there after a while in the hot sun, what does it attract? Bugs. Right, nastiness, right?
Yep.
They love the smell of trash and nastiness, okay? So kind of picture this in your body, you know? Disease inside your body. It attracts nastiness if you do not eliminate. Some people, you ask, are you regular is what they call it, right? Do you go like, yeah, I'm regular. I go once a month. What? Once a month? Could you imagine once a month never taking your trash out for a month? Okay, maybe once a week. The norm is 2 to 3 times a day. Like a baby. You give it food and empty the diaper, right? Give it food, empty the diaper. And your feces should be like butter. Well-formed butter. Okay? That's what we are kind of aiming for. So, to get rid of the garbage, do we just shoo the flies, or to get rid of the flies, do we just shoo the flies away? Hey, did you shoo a fly? Shoo, get away. Or do we take Febreze and just like spray? Oh, we don't smell it, we'll just mask it. Right? Is that what the doctors do? Oh, you have a fever, just give it a little aspirin. You'll be fine, right? We'll just kill that pain and that anti-inflammatory. Or for instance, cough. What do you do when you have a cough? That's a normal thing. Cough syrup. Suppress that cough. We don't want you to cough. That's embarrassing. Well, your body's natural reaction is to get that mucus out of your body. You want to get that junk out. When we suppress it, it makes it worse. When we suppress a fever with aspirin, it makes it worse. We need to let that burn, a wet fever, right? We want to let that burn so that it's killing that bacteria and virus. That's what our natural immune system does. It knows what it does. It needs to do that, but when we keep suppressing it, it makes it worse. And then it suppresses it for a while and it comes back, and it suppresses it for a while and it comes back even worse. So look a little deeper. When something's going on, what is the root cause? Do we need to just shoo away the flies and spray it a little bit and take the antibiotic or take the medication, or do we need to get rid of the garbage, right? What do you think we need to do? Is this the same way we diagnose systems and cover up the root cause by going up what's going on in our bodies? We need a detox. Let's cleanse this baby. Let's make it feeling good. Get rid of the toxins. That's kind of fuzzy. Sorry, it's super big out there. It makes it a little fuzzy. With that being said, let's cleanse. Do a 3-day juice cleanse. And then if you're feeling good and you want to go for the goal and just get rid of some more stuff, you can do the extended cleanse. And with the extended, you can keep on the lower bowel. So we can't expect miraculously in 3 days a lifetime of junk to be eliminated and you be perfectly free and clean, right? It's gonna take some time. So doing an extended cleanse is actually pretty awesome. I actually just got off one, I think in like February or whatever, and I did the extended one for like a couple, like 3 or 4 more weeks, but I kept keeping my colon active and going. This is not an addictive laxative, which a lot of laxatives are addicting, but this is a very gentle and very awesome one. So it's like a food, a natural food that's got the herbs in there to help even they've taken a cadaver opened up the colon, and I can see the emodin from the senna, I think senna's in there, Turkish rhubarb, Cascara sagrada, all these are probably foreign to you, but it even has ginger for the gas and the bloating that goes on in there, and cayenne pepper, which helps the blood flowing and get going, but it'll actually contract the smooth muscle of the colon. It's pretty awesome. So lower bowel is awesome. It's good to do it at night, so then you're up and ready to go in the morning. Then the liver gallbladder is awesome about purifying the blood and getting the filters ready to go. Then the kidneys, since we're at 80% water, it's good to get that filter and cleanse with the urinary system and get all that filtered out and good. And then the bloodstream formula is awesome. So once in your handout, it will tell you what you need to do with each one and when. After you're done with 3 days. If you wanted to go a little more, you can do that. The bloodstream is very last because you want to cleanse everything out. You want to cleanse all the organs, and then it's ready to facilitate the blood. Okay, I'm going to get your blood pumping, get those nutrients there, get the waste out, and then get that nice and squeaky clean, the oil in your machine, right? Get it nice and good. So, for instance, when you do a cleanse, don't panic if you're not feeling great. Sometimes you feel a little sluggish. You may get a little headaches. You may get a little more constipated. That's okay. Okay? Your body's trying to get rid of these toxins. Be kind to yourself. Take some baths, relax. Maybe take a little more prune juice. Get that moving. You know, if you feel like you're moving and getting going, that's good. Okay, don't panic. It's a lifetime of food that we may not be eating correctly, right? And so to just miraculously think we're going to have lots of energy, we're doing this cleanse, it'll be great. It may not always happen that way. You may, and you may feel great, and you may just be a little sluggish, and it may take a little time to get through. So, nature's energy, once it gets that house cleaned, and your house is a mess, right? And you're just like, oh, do I have to clean my house? My closet's a mess. When you start organizing and getting it clean, don't you feel better when it's done? Absolutely. So give yourself, don't be too hard on yourself. Let the cleanse do this thing, and don't blame it on the cleanse. You're just doing the best you can, working through it, and if you need to take it on a weekend and just take it, a few days off or whatever, just be kind to yourself. It's an amazing thing. And if you start getting gassy and bloated and whatnot, because these toxins are trying to get through and get out, you know, there's peppermint oil. It's an awesome one to help the digestion and ease the pain. There's Comfort. It's got anise and fennel, which is really good for gas, and it helps ease. And one thing that I do with the essential oils, which are awesome, those are plants in liquid form, so they're super concentrated. They are lipid soluble, and they go right through the cell membrane, and they start working. So you can do it right on the skin. It absorbs right through, and in 5 to 7 minutes, it's in the entire bloodstream. But I usually will go up the ascending colon, because usually it's in the large intestine to get out, right? So you go up the ascending in clockwise position, go the transverse, and then down the descending. And if you just rub the oils like with that, it will really help get that blockage. Sometimes you can feel the blockage. You're like, oh, there's like, it's bloomed out, and you just rub it with the oils, you know, smell it, rub it on there, and it really helps move that blockage through. It's pretty awesome. So, after that hardened mucus and materials and the feces is out, you'll feel a lot better. So, now that we feel good and we're all cleansed and feeling good, this is kind of tiny, but it's in your handout. It's Dr. Christopher's Mucusless diet. So here's some things that maybe you can think of now. Instead of grabbing that bag with chips, with salt and stuff, maybe grab a bag of carrot sticks and chomp on those for a little bit. Maybe instead of like a bag of chocolate, maybe grab some apples and some peanut butter dip or something. Just choose a different alternative and try it. See how you feel. So mucusless diet, salt. I would have never thought this, but salt is mucus forming. So in turn For salt, you can use kelp. You can use savory herbs or pepper. But the thing with pepper is very caustic if it's cooked, and it creates an irritant in the body. So if you're making something and you want to flavor it with pepper, do it afterwards. Once it's done, shake a little bit of pepper, a little bit of kelp, and a little bit of savory herbs. I put some things out there on the table you can see. We always make it funny. We're like at the dinner table, kelp me, pass me the kelp. Or, you know, do you have enough time? Give me some time, shake on my food or whatever. So you have fun with it. But cayenne pepper, we even have a shaker with cayenne pepper and put a little bit on there to help that blood pump and start moving through. Super good to balance the bloodstream, get the things going. I did a little bit for like my veins when I had babies. My veins had varicose veins, so cayenne would be good to get that circulation going. Eggs, no eggs should be eaten in any form. Very mucus forming. Sugar and all sugar products should be eliminated. What's that?
I love it.
I know. Good source of protein, for sure. But if you think about it, you're really eating a baby embryo. Kind of gross. Not formed yet. Sugar, obviously you know, it's like a super instant spike and then drops you down. It's not good for you. You can all use the other things like honey, molasses, flat shot molasses, super great. That's on the end. We'll talk about all the nutrients that's in molasses, super good. Meat, no meat of any kind of all red meat. It's very acidic, hard to break down, and most of it out there has got all the hormones and all the different things they pump in there. These cattle or these small little yards, not all, but some, and they're just, it's not great. But a little fish, bless you, a little fish once a week and some chicken that's not, you know, inoculated with, let's see, with all the different formaldehyde and serums that they do with the chickens and stuff like that. If you can get a good organic form of chicken is okay once in a while. So, like they say, eat formaldehyde. Yeah.
It's a preservative. They actually put it in a lot of the chicken that, you know, like some of the ones that are, they say they're fresh. The way they keep them fresh for long periods of time is to have the formaldehyde in it. Like that, you see them in that serum. They're like they're always wet.
Yeah.
That's part of it, is it's using that as a preservative.
Eat meat in very sparingly is what I'll add. If you can, there's lots of protein sources, just saying. Well, we're not quite ready yet, but I'll move on to that in a minute. But, so what I want to say really with that is, if you think about animal protein, it's secondary meat. So how does the cow, the horse, the gorilla get their protein? They're strong. They take people on their back and ride them up the mountain hunting and bring elk down the mountain. They're super energetic. They're happy. What do they eat? Plants. They're herbivores. How is that? They get that liquid sunshine from the sun, and it creates chlorophyll, which gives them protein, energy. It's amazing. Elephants, one of the biggest animals on this earth, eats only plants, and it's strong, right? It's amazing. A good show to watch is The Game Changer. It's a really good one for athletes. It's a plant-based diet, amazing. And then if you ever Google like plant Game Changer recipes, it's a good one too. So it's a good alternative. It actually increases their speed as an athlete, and it's not such a recovery. So the recovery is quicker and faster by eating plants, because the residual acidity plays in their blood. It doesn't take so long to, you know, get unsore. They're not as sore. This is a really good one for athletes if you want to watch it. It's on Netflix, so it's a good one. Milk, no dairy. Dairy is very mucus forming. If you think about it, milk, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, all dairy is just very mucus forming. You put cheese in the microwave, what does it look like when you get done? Goo. And that's going in your blood, and it's clogging it up. When people are sick, first thing I say, get off dairy, right? No milk. No, don't eat cereal, don't eat cottage cheese, whatever, just get off the milk completely. Because they're like, I don't know why my kid has constant runny noses. What's going on? It's trying to expel it from the body. You're overloading it, over-toxifying it. And it's funny because they're like, oh, we gotta have milk. Does the body good. Well, actually, that's the milk industry trying to promote milk. It actually robs the calcium from the bones to alkalize it. It's so acidic. Lactose is lactase, which is a milk sugar, right? And it actually pulls the calcium from the bones, which causes osteoporosis. It causes you to shrink, and it causes those bones to be depleted. But do you ever see a horse with osteoporosis? It's eating greens. It's eating it's eating chlorophyll from the grass. They're strong, healthy. They never are sick. Never. Animals, are they ever sick? That are out in the elements? Not very often. Maybe the lazy ones that sit at your feet and you feed them the dinner table, all your leftovers, maybe. But if you think about it,
The sick ones get killed.
the sick ones get killed and put in the glue for their hooves, and you get to eat them. How great is that? Secondary protein. So here's some plant-based proteins that are awesome. I'm not going to go into that, and I'm not going to hate you if you eat bad animal protein. I still love you. It's all good. I eat it occasionally. It's okay. So nuts and seeds are super powerful. Chia seeds, 2 tablespoons, 6 grams of protein. Hemp seeds are super awesome. Are those on there? They should be up there. There's hemp over there. They're actually higher in protein than chia seeds. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, cashews, walnuts, and then we get the legumes and all the beans and chickpeas. So I made a hummus over there out of chickpeas and some sesame seeds and garlic, and super, super nutritious. Edamame beans, tofu. I have some really great recipes for tofu. Super yummy, I love it. And whole grains. They're really good. So, here's our famous gorilla, right? Vegan protein is easy. Vegan is meaning no dairy, no meat, right? Vegetarian is just no meat. So complete proteins, chlorella, spirulina, hemp seed, chia, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, and soy. So there's some green stuff over there that I show you. That's my favorite, Organifi. It has monk fruit to sweeten it, and it's got spirulina, chlorella, and I put it in my drink in the morning. Eric takes beet juice and greens every morning before he leaves to work. When we run our Spartan races, we drink those, and it's very energetic, very nutrifying, and alkalizing for the blood, and it feeds and gives you lots of energy. Complete proteins are corn and beans, so you have to have those together for complete protein. Brown rice and beans, oat bran and soy milk, buckwheat and millet, brown rice and cashews, pecans and almonds, avocado sprouts, almond butter on whole wheat bread. So those are some ideas to give you some complete protein. If you guys need to leave, you're welcome to. If you need to head on something, so yeah.
Didn't AJ really like the green drink? Like he would take it to school and drink it all
Right.
day?
Yeah, my son, he is my not so great eater out of the whole family. And yeah, choose my battles. But he started drinking this drink, and he would put like 2 packets in and shake it up and bring it to school with him in his backpack, bring it to work with him, and it was so cute. He loves it. And so even if you get your pickiest eaters, they will like it. It's actually really good. And you're welcome to try some in your water and slip it up and see if you like it. It's really yummy. So the whole was, is, and always will be better than its parts. So we're talking about whole grains. So the whole wheat is better because it has its bran and its nutrients. But white flour, what do? They take the bran off, they grind it all up, and then they bleach it, and then they enrich it, and they package it and say it's good. But it's like wallpaper. Have you ever taken white flour and mixed it with water and put it on the wall? Try to get it off in a couple days. It sticks, and that's what it does in your colon wall. Those villi that absorb all the nutrients in your colon wall to put it in your bloodstream, those get pasted down, and it can't absorb the nutrients because you're eating white flour and white sugar and all those, and it just cakes it down. And so no wonder you can't eliminate. It's hard if those aren't absorbing the nutrients either. And then white willow bark, wintergreen, is what they use use the elements out of that for aspirin. So what medicine does is a lot of them, aspirin is a popular over-the-counter drug. It's commonly used to relieve pain, right? So the salicylic acid is the active ingredient, which is the same in willow trees, willow bark, or wintergreen, same in essential oil. So a lot of plants are in drugs. They'll use those active parts. So they'll just take a part of the plant and they'll isolate it and they'll put it in a drug to create it and make it work, right? Because they realize, wow, these plants, they're down in the jungle right now trying to find cures for cancer and stuff like that. Finding these active principles in plants to use medicinally, but God never wanted it that way. He wanted that whole plant to take care of and feed you. So if you take the whole plant, it's better for you than taking the parts, because then you don't suffer from the side effects, right? With one drug, how many side effects do they list that are wrong?
Well, they're also taking the chemically making
Right.
that active ingredient.
They chemically
and
active
can
ingredient.
overload the system with it.
Right. So something to think about. Okay, we're not ready to go back with that yet. So, any questions with that so far? We're almost done. Sorry, it's kind of longer than I thought, but you've been so patient. So good audience. Thank you. Sometimes just going on with the protein commercial, proteins are hard to digest. Even like the plant proteins, or what do they call it? The
Pea
powder,
protein.
protein, it's hard on the liver too. So you don't want to overload yourself. A lot of athletes and weightlifters use that because it's instant protein, right? They just need 2 scoops and I've already got 20 grams. So don't overload yourself with that unless you can't get the protein you need. So that's really hard on the liver. So I'm just not even following my cards. I just keep them just in case I need them. Organic is better, obviously for a lot of reasons. They don't have the chemicals and the pesticides in the ground that don't feed the body, and it actually absorbs that through the root system. So you think, oh, the sprays and it's not going to harm the plant. Well, actually, it goes up through the root system, and you are eating it. So you are what you eat. So if you can have organic, good material, it is the best, right? Homegrown yourself, if you can grow it yourself, is best. You know what you're eating. You don't know what they sprayed on it in the grocery store before just to get it to ripen really fast, right? They do that for bananas and a lot of the foods. They pick it when it's green so it can take a week to ship here before it doesn't go bad. And then if you can eat organic, is the best. So, some foods to cut out mucus. So now that you're clean, you've done the cleanse, you're not eating all those mucus-forming foods anymore, is you're wanting to take in some good things to strengthen the body. So cayenne pepper is one of the most strongest ones for the blood, the heart, everything. It helps circulate. It's a little bit hot, but it's awesome. If you do like 1/4 of a teaspoon in warm water in the morning, you can put a little lemon. I do this concoction with my apple cider vinegar thing. So I'll do the honey and apple cider vinegar. It's a teaspoon of honey and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, the natural kind, with the mother still in the bottle. And then put a little bit of honey, a little lemon, or I'll alternate that with cayenne pepper. I'll either do cinnamon or cayenne pepper with it, and it's super awesome. The cayenne is great for stimulating the blood, get it pumping. Thanks for coming, Aspen. Increase your functionality, your energy, your blood vessels, your elasticity, if I can speak right, in your veins. So it's super good for varicose veins or anything like that. It equalizes the blood. So if you have like a bloody nose, if you actually inhale cayenne, it'll stop it. It helps with those burst blood vessels. Super good. Huh?
Make your eyes water.
Yes, it'll make your eyes water. Actually, it's not to the taste. So like even if you get a big cut, first aid, you can grab cayenne pepper and put it on it, coagulate and stop the blood.
Would it burn your arm?
No. So try that. It's actually good for hemorrhaging and blood, anything with the blood. So Apple cider vinegar dissolves mucus. So if you can get up, I have a friend that used to take it every day, and she's like, my hair is so silky and good. It just makes you feel good. Your skin, it's yummy, it's good. It's a little bit tangy, just saying. But if you put a little honey and cinnamon in it, it's not as tangy, or lemon, or a little bit of cayenne. So you can shake it up a little bit. But
Can I
it's
just eat more pickles?
pickles. There you go.
Does that work the same?
Not as much, but so it also coagulates the blood and helps with digestion. Have you heard apple cider vinegar is good for digestion? So, but blackstrap molasses is the unsulfured kind, 1 tablespoon, 3 times a day will increase your calcium. Potassium, it'll help it assimilate better and increase your iron. So that's a really big one for anemia, is iron. We'll increase that. Wheat germ oil has great vitamin C and B in it. It stabilizes the blood. I take that morning and night, actually to help balance my hormones. I'm going through that premenopausal stuff. Great hormone thing, and there's the hormonal changes with the wheat germ oil helps balance the hormones.
What was that?
Wheat germ oil. It also helps prevent constipation, and it's good fatty acid and cuts cholesterol. And then kelp is the last one. That's actually, I used to crave salt a lot. I was a big chips and salsa person. I wouldn't care about the chocolate, but I like chips and salsa. And I've actually noticed I haven't really been craving that a lot. I've been trying to do a lot more kelp. The nutritional yeast is good for your B12 vitamins. So if you just sprinkle that on your salad or on your food, it's a really good one for your B vitamins. But the kelp is good for your thyroid. So hyperthyroid takes place of salt, prevents cancer. pH balance, bone density, so it's also good for your bones. Protein, red blood cell production. I'm having a little tongue twister deal. Increases your immune system and manages menstruation symptoms. So that might be good. Eric might be shaking that more on my food. Who knows? Okay, so last but not least, I just wanted to give you a couple options, some tools back there if you're interested. If not, no worries. I just want you to come and enjoy. But there's some really good ones for COVID now that the second season is on its way, or just for overall health, right? Because you're going to increase that immune system, you're going to detox, and you're going to cleanse. So once you got to get rid of the garbage and cleanse that body, and then you can start rebuilding and start getting ready to build that strong and healthy immune system to prepare you for the cold season, right? So my favorite is Super Immune Garlic Immune back there. Dr. Christopher makes it. It's got an awesome concoction. My kids can testify. It works. If they even go like this in my house, I'm like, let's go gargle. We bring them right down and we gargle the Garlic Immune and cayenne pepper, apple cider vinegar, and honey. And gargle that, my grandma's recipe. It's super good. Cuts the mucus, it builds the immune system. Garlic is a super awesome, strong immune builder and antibiotic. It's a natural antibiotic. It's good for earaches. It's good for a lot of things. So Dr. Christopher has some awesome mixes back there. The green drink is great alkalizer. Try some in your water, see if you like it. It's good on the go packets, or they sell them in those containers too, which is awesome. Essential oils are another my love. I love the herbs. I love making things. I got some lip salves back there that I've made some comfrey, which is a cell proliferator and a bone mender. I've been putting on my knee to get it healing better. I restrained my MCL water knee boarding, and so I'm trying to get it better. But been putting fomentations and drinking it and soaking it with comfrey, which helps rebuild the tissues and the bone in there. But I made a salve out of my garden with comfrey, calendula, which is a really good emollient. It's good for the skin, and marshmallow root. So, and I put a little splash of spearmint. So it's really appetizing to the lips. Or didn't one of your kids use it for?
Yeah, I actually use it right now. My lips are chapped.
Oh, you do? Awesome. So cool. Thanks. Glad you use it. That's really yummy. I think Trish used it for her, one of her kids had eczema, and it helped heal it right up. So it's good to be able to utilize the herbs, and I tincture my yarrow and whatnot. But there's some oils and stuff if you think you might need some tools and want to take with you. If not, let me know if you want some later. But there's some really good immune fighters like Breathies. It helps open up the airways in the lungs. It helps you breathe at night. So rubbing them on your chest, and I actually even put it in on a Q-tip and rub it in my kids' nose if they can't breathe at night or they get congested, and you put them up on a pillow. So Breathies is really good. It's got 4 different eucalyptuses in it, and peppermint and a lot of different other things. It also has Ancient Remedy back there. It's the big one they used back in the Bible. I think they took a recipe. It's the anti-plague, back when they had the plagues going on. It's got a lot of good immune builders, and then defense. Those 3 are my favorite for like the cold season coming up. But there's like clove for pain, like canker sores. There's lemon for cleaning. You can actually even put lemon oil if you're traveling, put it in your water, and it will actually, the chlorine will adhere to the lemon oil, and then you scoop it out, and it's kind of funny. But oregano is another strong. It's actually antiviral, which a lot of doctors can't touch. I put a little drop on my tongue or rub it on my spine. It's really good. So there's a lot of different ones back there. It's not an oil class today, sorry, but the cleansing class. But is there any questions? Sorry, it's been long.
It's good.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
You guys have any questions or concerns, or yeah?
What's a good supplement for something for calcium if you're not having milk and milk products? What would you?
Okay,
what kind of
so
foods and stuff?
so what does the cow eat? They give a lot of calcium to people, right, in milk. So greens. The greener the food, the better. So like kale, bok choy, spinach, anything green is really high in calcium. Also, was it blackstrap molasses is really good. What else is good?
Can you take comfrey inside, like internal for bones and stuff?
Well, that's questionable. So it's got a pyrrolizidine alkaloid, which is super, this is the plant's warding off insects, right? It's got an alkaloid in there that sometimes if you're not clean and detox, the liver, it will go to the liver and sometimes cause failure of the liver if you're not clean. If you know you are, a lot of herbalists use it and it's fine. I drink it, it's fine. But you never know, right? So they recommend doing it externally is best, just to be safe. The root and the young leaves are the most potent because they're growing, they have a lot of alkaloids, they're trying to sprout that plant and go. So the larger leaves are better if you don't, you just be careful. Like my kids will go eat it. It's kind of hairy and stuff, but that one has, it's a really good one. But just to be precautious, they just take externally best. Like I was running down Fairy Lake stairs and racing my husband, and I, at the very last stair, twisted my ankle, and it just swole up really big. And I made some comfrey tea and put it in our foot bath, and it was black and blue, and put my ankle in there, and within an hour, the discoloring was fading away. It was so awesome to just see that. It was pretty cool. So it's a good healer, but just to be safe externally is probably best.
How do you take, you told us how to take the apple cider and the honey and the cayenne. How do you take the other things, the blackstrap molasses and the wheat germ? Do you just spoon it?
Yeah,
Do you-
it's pretty thick, the molasses, but yeah, you can probably mix it in a little water too. I've mixed it in water.
And the wheat germ oil,
You can take it in a cup, or they do sell them in gels. It's a little more appetizing than the olive oil, but it's still oil, so it's not palatable.
Yeah.
So yeah, the gels are easier, but once you get used to it, taking a spoonful of it, it's not bad.
What's the difference in blackstrap molasses and sorghum molasses?
I don't know that one. I don't know much about that molasses. I use it a little bit here and there, but I'll get back to you on that. Text me the question. I know, easy question.
darn it.
I didn't look bad.
I think sorghum is a grain and blackstrap comes from sugar cane.
Oh, very good. So there you go. Thanks, April. I knew someone smart in here to help us out here. All right. So I talked about these good ones to build the immune system. So with all that, eat well, live fresh, and love your body. So thank you for coming.